Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. So today's video I'm going to talk about July forecast for Cancer people. So anybody with a Cancer rising, Cancer ascendant, Cancer lagna or moon in Cancer. This video is applicable for all of them. So guys, the first good thing which is happening is Saturn is getting retrograde. Okay, on the 13th of July, which is for the next 5 months, all Cancer people who are passing through with Sade Sati or who are passing through with Saturn's Dhaiya, which is the 2.5 years period, they would see, like lot of relief from the effects of Sade Sati and Dhaiya for the next 5 months, till the Saturn is retrograde. So, guys, I always start with the ascendant, but for you, I would start from your profession. Why I have a reason? Because since the last 4 months, the Lord of your profession, Mars, is not in a good dignity. Like for the last 2 months, okay, it is, in conjunction with Ketu. Okay, and prior to that, it was debilitated. So technically, since 4 months, Mars is in a very difficult situation. So, Mars for you is a very, very, very important planet. Mars is a Yoga-karak planet for you. Mars lords your 5th house and your 10th house. 5th house is the cone as well as 10th house is the kendra. Therefore, Mars becomes a Yoga-karak planet for you. So 5th house, represents your romantic relationships, your kids, your education, your intellect, your creativity, your startup, your stock market investments, okay, or your speculative investments. 10th house is the house of your profession. So both these areas, you've been literally having a very difficult time since the last 4 months. It's from April onwards, it's going not good. So big relief for you coming in, guys. 28th of July, Mars is finally, getting out of the conjunction of Ketu and is getting into the 3rd house, which means, 3rd house is an Upchaya house. Mars is a malefic planet. So Mars is gives excellent results in 3rd house, which means your romantic relationships, your stock market investments, your anything around speculation, could be cryptocurrency, could be stock market, your profession. If you've been struggling, if you've been facing issues, if there are any kind of problems you're facing since the last 4 months in all these areas, you would see a major relief coming in. Okay, technically the profession would be back on track. The romantic relationships, the kids, the education, the stock market investment, everything would be back on track. Okay, now 3rd house is the house of hard work. It's the house of courage. It's the house of short-term travel. It's the house of writing, communication. So it is the house of social media. So all the people, Cancer people who are into this kind of profession, related to communication, writing, social media, short-term travels, you would see great growth coming in. So technically, this is a great movement for you, guys. I mean, anyone who is been having a difficult time in the job, you would see great relief coming in. Second, if you are not in a job and you're looking for a job, 28th July onwards, there is a very high probability that things start moving north for you. You would see success in terms of your search, and there is a very high probability that you get into a good job, high paying job. So, I mean, that's I want to share in the beginning. Now let's talk about what are the movements which is happening. So 13th of July, Saturn is getting retrograde. Okay, for the next 5 months. So Saturn is the lord of your house of marriage and the house of your uncertainty, and is now is retrograde in your 9th house. So 9th house is basically about your long term travel. It is about your father. It is about your mentor. It is about your luck. Okay, so and it is about your religion. So when Saturn gets retrograde, it is the time when you rethink. Okay, it's the time when you reevaluate, you reassess. So I'll give you an example. So maybe you're planning to migrate abroad. Okay, you're planning to take up a job outside. I mean, in a different country, in a different city. Okay, it is then in the next 5 months you would be thinking around that area. Whether you should, like, what would be the, like, cost of living, what would be the compensation. You would be doing a lot of thinking around whether around the feasibility of that. So there might be some things which happened in the past. Okay, some pending stuff which may come up this time during the next 5 months. So, I mean, in terms of your father health, yes, there, because it is also the lord of your eighth house, so there could be some challenges around your father's health. So, yes, that's a probability. Now, around your religious beliefs also, you may reassess, around what kind of religious practices you are doing, and, you may want to like rethink on all those things around religion. That is also seen. Now, in terms of your mentor, in terms of your coach, again, you would take a pause, just reevaluate, just rethink, you know. So that's mostly around the Saturn, retrograde, movement. Now, the next movement would be on the 16th of July. Sun, the lord of your wealth, the lord of your money, the lord of your, savings, your, like net worth, is getting into your second house. Oh, I'm sorry, it is getting into your ascendant. So, I mean, guys, when a planet like Sun, which is the king, which is the, like, he's the king, lord of second house of wealth, getting into the ascendant, it gives little bit of a snob value. So, I mean, what I'm trying to say is that any decision around finances, any financial decision which you take, so just see that there's a lot of prudence and logic, and no, not ego. So there's a possibility that if you like take a decision based on the ego, for any financial decision based on ego, that may bring losses to you. So, but I would like to add here one more thing. This I mean thing would impact you if you are with a Cancer rising, passing through with Sun times, passing through with Sun Mahadasha or Antardasha. It is then. Otherwise, it's not going to be a big problem. So that's mostly about Sun. Now 18th of July, it is Mercury which is getting retrograde. Mercury is the lord of your 12th house, and it's the lord of your third house. Third house is the house of communication, and 12th house is the house of foreign land. And when Mercury is getting retrograde in your ascendant. Okay, so when with a retrograde Mercury, what happens is you got to be very, very careful around your communication. So, which means that you have a foreign client, they ask you to complete a task, and you give them an X date, and then you may not be able to deliver on that date. So you may not be able to honor the commitment. So this is what happens. So you got to be extremely, extremely careful about your whatever you commit, whatever you communicate. Now your boss could ask you like at by this particular date. I mean, you give them a date that by this date this task would be done. But then suddenly you would realize that you need more time, and that can create problems for you. Same thing, because it is the lord of the third house, I mean Mercury. So you may commit to your romantic relationship, to your spouse, to your kids, or to your maybe siblings. Okay, you go for a short term travel, but then by the time you reach that particular day, you would realize that you would not be able to go because there's a lot of pending stuff. So that's mostly about the Mercury. One more thing, guys, it's third house is also about the signing contracts. So if you are, make sure that whatever contracts you are signing, at least you are doing at least 2 to 3 times of proofreading. So that's mostly about the Mercury. Now 26th July, Venus is moving into your 12th house in conjunction with Jupiter. And Venus is the lord of your 4th house and lord of your 11th house. So 4th house is about your home, about your mother, about your vehicles, about your emotional happiness. And 11th house is the house of your networks, your social network, your professional network. The lord of that is getting into the house of expenses, which means there could be expenses if there is anything which is pending in the home where you live, some kind of a repair. Okay, so there could be expenses around your home. There could be expenses around your vehicles. There could be expenses around the health of your mother, because 12th house is also about the hospitalization. So there could be a chance that there's some expenses on the health of your mother. Okay, So, I mean, there could be a possibility that you make a expenses in terms of your network, in terms of your social network, your professional network. So that is also seen. And 28th July, finally Mars, which I've already shared, like Mars is moving out of the conjunction of Ketu. So big great news coming for you guys because if profession is under control, you would be able to take everything. You would be able to take control of everything. And profession is, since the last 4 months, was your weak area. So that's mostly what I wanted to talk, guys, about this transit. So I've shared my number in the description. I've shared my email address in the description. Anyone wants to connect with me in order to discuss their chart, you can connect with me on WhatsApp or on my email. So guys, that's mostly for today. If you've liked this video, I would request you to press the bell notification, to press the subscription. And Cancer people, I request you, to write your comment. Because I started this series, and I really need your inputs. Like, what kind of changes should I bring in this? So, and just share your comments if you've liked this video. So that's mostly what I wanted to talk, guys. And thanks a lot for your time, and you have a great evening. Thank you.